Hi everyone, this is Maria's Budgeting. Welcome back to my channel. If you're returning, and welcome if you are new. So today I'm going to be doing my weekly check-in for the first week of March. So let's go ahead and get started. The first and the second and part of the third, just Sunday morning, I was in San Francisco for the concert that I went to. So I'm not going to mark those as no spend days because I did spend money, although I'm only going to track on the third because that is the day that I got back home. So for my trip, I did spend from Adventures, and that was a total of $252 from that sinking fund. So that included food, Lyft, drinks, what else? Parking, things like that. Now, for the hotel parking and gas, the gas we split it between 4 people, and then the parking was $60 per night. It was 2 nights, so that ended up being $30 per person. I ended up taking that money out of gas. So in total, I spent $294 with those two things combined. So that is what I did to pay for that trip. When we got back home for lunch, we decided to go to Oz. My sister's best friend, myself, and my sister. I worded that completely wrong. My sister's best friend, my sister, and I decided to go to Oz. It was a very expensive lunch, but it was very good. And I ended up spending it out of groceries because I didn't have, I think, enough money from restaurants. And I actually did not buy any groceries during that paycheck. So I ended up spending it from there, which is not good, but I enjoyed it. Plus, I was the one driving. I was tired. I didn't want to make anything. And yes, we could have chosen something a lot cheaper, but that is what we decided to eat. So, yes. The fourth, I did buy some Carl's Jr., and that came out of my restaurant's money, and that was a total of $31. On the 5th and the 6th, it was no spend days. On the 7th, I did get McDonald's and I spent $2. I think that was the day that they had the deal on the app of buy a minimum of $1, whatever you want, $1, and then you got a Happy Meal for free. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and I spent $2 on that. And then on the 8th, it was a no spend day. So I didn't write what we started with, so I will go ahead and write those in really quick. So dates, we started with 0. Gas, we started with 48. Groceries, 120. And then restaurants, we did 30. Spending was 5. And then budgeted nothing. So now let's go ahead and check in. So first, dates was nothing. Gas, we did spend. So that was 42. We spent, and then we had 48. So that means $6 remaining for the week. And then let me write in for dates that was 0. Groceries, we did get some Oz, which was 47. We started with 120, so that means 73 remaining. Restaurants, we did get Carl's Jr. and McDonald's. So McDonald's for 2, Carl's Jr. for 31. That makes it 33, which I know I'm going to be negative. So let me bring out my red pen to mark -3. And then spending, we didn't actually spend anything. So 5 remaining, and then nothing for unbudgeted. Technically, the McDonald's transaction was unbudgeted because I was already -1 when I got the McDonald's, but I really didn't want to confuse myself with the red stickers because I ran out of my grocery stickers, so I ended up moving to the red, which was originally unbudgeted, but I don't really have a lot of unbudgeted transactions, so I decided to use red instead. So I didn't want to get those two mixed up, so I ended up not doing unbudgeted. I ended up just putting it with restaurants, which gives me a negative balance anyway, so it's technically the same thing. But it is nice to also track when you actually don't have any money for that specific transaction, because if I had $1, and I am over budget, but I still had $1, but I was zeroed out in restaurants, so technically, again, it was unbudgeted, but I didn't want to track it as unbudgeted. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and unstuff my wallet. So dates was nothing. Gas, we are unstuffing 42, so 40 and 2, and that leaves me with $6. Moving on to groceries, we are unstuffing 47 for Oz. So we're going to take 60, 20, 40, 60. We need $3 and then a 10. So we have 20, 40, 60, 70, 1, 2, and 3, which is perfect. And I'm actually going to take the $3 out for my negative balance right here. So for restaurants, we're going to take out all $30. And then spending will have 5. So that is it for the wallet. And then I do have some receipts to scan into Fetch. Fetch is an app that you could download to your phone. You can scan receipts. They give you points for the receipts, and the points you can go ahead and redeem for gift cards. So I am going to leave my code on the screen and down below in case you guys are interested in signing up using my code. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 100. So this is the 100 that we started with to make change. And let me calculate how much we should have that we unstuffed. So 42, 47, 33, and 5. Oh, that's the wrong one. 42, 47, and 33. Yes. So 122. So let's go ahead and see. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 21, 2. Perfect. Now, I do have one sinking fund to unstuff, and I will not need change because I'm pretty sure I do have enough money in here, or enough change. So I'm just going to go ahead and unstuff this. So 100, 200, 52, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 1, and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to take a 5 and a 1 to make it 6. And then perfect. Just wanted to double check that I counted that right. And then $6 are left over in adventures. And so that money is going back to the bank so I can go ahead and pay off my credit card. I'm going to go ahead and use this marker for the month. I just feel like this green is too green. So I like this color better. And I'm going to use this color to mark off my sinking fund transactions. So there is that. And then I'm going to go back to my calendar. So I can go ahead and mark off that last transaction, because this should be the only one that hasn't been marked off, which is sinking fund trip for my sinking funds, a $252 transaction. So that is it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.